But then we have the Tales of the Cutter's Treasure parts 1 and 2. This was the first two-parter, and it was season 4's opening episode.
Okay.
Yep. And with that, it was literally a pirate situation going back into. And what was unique about this episode is not only was this the first episode or first two-parter episode, it had both Dr. Vink and Sardo finally make their appearances in the same run, which was the first time they met up with each other. And it also had two storytellers, the first of anything to ever happen in the entire franchise. It had always been one storyteller the entire time.
Yeah.
But instead, two people teamed up. And it was an unlikely pairing, really, as well, because you had the leader boy who was kind of a geek and a nerd. Mm-hmm. And then you had I guess you could call him the hateful jock storyteller.
Okay.
Yeah. And they teamed up and it made just for a really fun pirate's tale.
Okay.
And I can't honestly say that I remember too much about it. I remember enough that the boy in this story is going to Sardo's magic shop. He opens up a chest, which is something Sardo couldn't get open himself. But the boy opened up no problem. It was Dr. Vink who brought it to Sardo, say, hey, if you get this chest open, you get to keep whatever's inside. All he wanted was the box for whatever reason. Okay. I guess it was some sort of a portal or something. The boy gets it open. He gets all these little artifacts, including a spyglass, which when he looks through, serves as a view into the past.
Okay.
With, cool. With these pirates having buried a treasure, and the boy goes off to, along with, I believe it's Sardo and Dr. Vink in this case, to go and find this treasure, which is what Dr. Vink had wanted all the while. And hence the reason why it's called Cutter's Treasure is because the guy who hid it, his name was Cutter.
Okay.
And he betrayed all of his pirate crew in order to be able to try to keep all that treasure for himself. Wound up dying. He winds up in combat with the little boy. The boy wins.
As you do in the story.
As you do in the story. And Dr. Vink gets all his treasure. I don't entirely remember all the details of it, but that's pretty much it. It's just it's a fun little two-parter pirate's tale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, really solid. The Tale of the Quiet Librarian, and just like the case with it being an atmosphere thing with the museum episode, I mean, have you ever not thought that a haunted library was a cool atmospheric thing? Like, we had a haunted library at our college that we attended. You remember our library at college was haunted?
It was?
Yes. Very haunted. With
I know we had buildings that were haunted. I didn't know the library was one of them.
Oh, yeah. We had the main building that we were in for our art degree stuff was haunted.
Yeah, I knew that one was.
And then the library was very haunted. We're going to take a brief moment and talk about that then. So the guy who was working as the head librarian there, he mentioned that he saw a woman turn the corner when he was there late one night doing some research and stuff and disappeared. And he went chasing after her. He's like, nobody's supposed to be here at this hour of the night. I think that was at that point where they weren't allowing people to be in the buildings past a certain hour anymore. I don't remember what caused that, but I just remember that they instated that about 2 years into our being there.
Yeah, they started closing earlier. Yeah. Well, not early, but you can stay in too late.
Yeah, although that didn't stop some of us in the art departments where we had just stayed there all night to work on our projects. As long as you didn't get caught, no one said anything.
You know.
Well, he saw this woman in a flowing dress of some kind. I don't know if it was a flowing skirt or whatever. Turn a corner. He went chasing after her. It just disappeared out of nowhere. She just completely disappeared after he turned the corner. He didn't see her. And it was one of those cases where the higher level was so small that there was no way she could just easily
disappear
that fast. And the elevators at that hour of the night were not running, so she couldn't have gone down the elevator. And if she had gone down the elevator, he would have heard it because of how loud those were.
Mm-hmm. Those elevators were janky. They had
were
those
so janky.
Old-timey elevators.
If they even ran well at all, if at all.
I used the stairs. I didn't get on the elevator. I used the stairs. Once you had to get an elevator and you're doing all this stuff like you're back in the 1950s and one of those cranked out. No. I didn't even like getting on the elevators when I worked in the cafeteria because we had one of those types.
Yeah.
I didn't even like getting on that thing for anything. I took the stairs every time I had to go to the basement for something. We had our mini convenience store down there, but still, I took the stairs when I had to go down there.
Well, even still, though, with that, those stairs, those stairwells leading down were so damn loud because they were made of that kind of metal that reverberated so easily. There's no way she could have gone down and not made a single sound the entire way down. So that freaked him out. He told me about that at some point because I don't know, I just got on very well with the head librarian there. So I talked with him every once in a while, and he told me about that one night. And then while she was more of a friend of mine than she really was of yours, but you were acquaintance with her, Tori. Do you remember her?
Yes.
Yes. Well, she worked there.
I was like, what's her name? Yeah.
Yes. Well, she worked there for a while. And she told me about it because I had just come in shortly thereafter it had happened. Wild. They were all freaking out because this scream came from out of nowhere, and it was heard right up there at the front. Mm-hmm. But no one in the section where all the books were, right behind the desk, heard it. Mm-hmm. Nobody over in the computer section heard it. No one on a higher level heard it. It was all just right up there at the very front. And they freaked out because they had to then call everyone forward, make sure everyone was okay. They thought someone had gotten hurt. Mm-hmm.
And everyone's confused because like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, everyone was confused. But because there was like 3 or 4 people working up there at the front, it was a collective. We all heard this. Yeah. It wasn't just one person heard this ghostly scream up at the front out of nowhere. And it was shortly thereafter that I was told about that ghost up there at the top by the head librarian guy. And so several ghost events took place there in that library.
I didn't go to the library often. I know, crazy. I didn't. I barely went to the library. I went to the library one time because something was going on with my computer because my USB, I thought it lost all my information, and it didn't. The guy said it didn't. I went to the library to do some research one time, and I mostly went to the library when there were storms. That was my most time going. And then when I took video editing class, but again, that's the basement floor. There was a side door that you could take to go directly to that classroom instead of having to go to the main one. So I was mainly down there. And that had a cutoff because they literally had, like, again, that fence, which, what the fuck, why?
Yeah, I remember.
But they had a fence where they locked that side, the classroom side out. So you could still be down there in the basement area because there was a vending machine stuff there and there was like a little sitting booth area.
I remember that.
But it blocked off, if they put that fence out, it blocked off the classroom. So needless to say, I couldn't be in that area for too long because I would have been freaking locked down there.
Yeah.
Because they, instead of checking, because common sense, they check the classroom and make sure there's no students still in there.
No.
They would just lock. They would just close the gate and lock it. So
Didn't
luckily,
you almost get locked in there once?
Yeah, I almost got locked. That's what I'm saying. I almost got locked in there once because when you edit and stuff, you lose track of time.
Especially when you got headphones on.
Yeah, and so because you have to listen to certain sounds like that, I was listening to certain bits and pieces that I need sound bites for certain scenes. So you can't hear nothing in there, and it's soundproof because if not, it'd be really freaking loud if it wasn't. So you could get locked in there. So no, I didn't know about the library one because I barely went to the library.
Well, we also had the Davis Hall, which was just loaded to the brim with ghosts. We had the ghosts
Davis.
What?
I knew about Davis.
Oh yeah, Davis was crazy. Davis had all those ghosts on the 3rd floor, which is where we did all our art stuff. And then in the black and white photo lab, they had the friendly teacher ghost who would occasionally
help you.
Yeah, she'd be like, "You need any help?
No, thank you."
Are you good?
Listen, if you told her no, thank you, and you were nice, she'd leave you alone.
Yeah.
Then you had the one in the theater.
Oh yeah, wasn't that one a little more malicious? Or no?
I don't know.
I forgot about the one in the theater. Yeah. Oh, that one was freaky.
I don't know if that one was malicious or not. But then again, you'd have to ask the theater group kids because they were in there more than anybody else.
True.
But yeah, no. So we had.
It's not surprising that a theater would be haunted.
Yeah. You know.
So anyway, that was a fun tangent. But yeah, our college, when we attended college, haunted all kinds of crazy. Like there was a time I remember.
Well, you do have a witches circle too at our school. So
we did have a witches circle there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I remember there was one night I was up there editing. Yeah, I heard a whole bunch of voices going on, and I was the only one up there. I know I was the only one up there. I went and walked, and it was an L shape, so it's not that far up there. I went and walked from one end to the other because I was like, I'm hearing all these voices while I was up there late at night doing some video editing and some photo editing and stuff like that. It's a freaky shit.
Listen, this is how I know sometimes in horror movies when they have the black person die, I know it's a movie Because I didn't hear shit. Did you hear that? I didn't hear nothing. I'm just going to keep editing my video and getting the fuck out of here. I didn't hear nothing.
I didn't hear anything.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, no.
Yeah,
so
you did that actually once. It's like, I didn't hear that. Nope.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
This crackhead over here talking about, did you hear that? No. Click, click, click. I don't give a damn if I heard it. No. No, I didn't hear nothing. But you know what I'm about to do is hit save and get the fuck out of here. That's what I'm about to do. Because no.
I remember that actually. Yeah, you did leave that one night and you're like, you're on your own. I'm like,
I'm
and
done.
then I left shortly thereafter.
I was like, I'm done. I'm done. Whether regardless if I was done or not, I hit save and save and save and save because I was paranoid. I had 3 flash drives for 1 picture. I saved everything that I needed to save, and I was like, you know what? It's late. It's late. It's time to go. That's my cue to leave and go.
I think
home.
I stuck around maybe a half an hour more, and then I was out there myself.
I left. If I saw you at lunch the next day, you survived. Cool. That was it. Because I was.
Damn.
I wasn't gonna go back for you. No, that's what I'm saying. No.
My best friend, y'all.
You wouldn't think it, but
No.
but here's the thing.
She don't love me like that.
But here's my thing. Don't feel bad. I left Sarah too when I thought something was about to get us. It was fight or flight, and my flight was on point. I left
When
her
was
too.
that?
She got mad a little bit, but I told her it was her fault. Again, goes back to. It goes back to in these horror movies with black people. I would survive. It's a movie. It's a movie because what's that sound? Let's go near it. Fuck no. It happened. Okay, so when we lived we moved off campus.
Yeah, I remember that. And y'all wanted me to move in with you. I'm like, no.
No, we live with Tori. So we were on this end, and then our friend Megan and Dalton lived on the opposite end of us. So there was a breezeway, I think 1 or 2 breezeways in between us. So we stayed there late at night. It was like almost like 10 or something o'clock at night, right when we finally left their apartment. Me and her, and it's around this time, Halloween-y fall time. So me and her leave. Right. Now, mind you, she had already ate a bowl of ramen. So she had the bowl. So she has a weapon in her hands. Right. So I have at the time I was into perler beads and melting stuff. So I had my little pointed scissors. Apparently, I left my gloves at their apartment. And he was trying to be a nice person and give them back. Now, mind you, he's barefoot. We're walking in between breezeways to get back to our apartment, but we're walking slow, right? Because we have no hurry to get back to our apartment.
Oh, Dalton was one trying to give
Dalton was trying to give them back to me.
Okay.
Right? Now, picture this. Kyle.
Yeah, I'm picturing it.
Normal person, if you left something at the apartment, you
would call out and say, hey, you left this. Or you call them and be like, hey, you left this. And be like, all right, I'll come get it in the morning.
Did you catch what he said the first time? You call out and say, hey, you forgot. Now, granted, it's at nighttime, so it's more like a hey, but projection.
Like, hey, Shy, you left this.
Yeah, yo, Sarah, Shy, wait up, something. You get that.
You get their attention.
You didn't do that, and then he had the nerve. He's barefoot, mind you, because he didn't like wearing shoes. He's barefoot, but you would think
I had an apartment mate that was like that.
You would think you'd hear this, right? Like the clapping of the feet on the concrete.
No.
None of that. You know what this fucker did? This is me and Sarah. Come closer. We're walking like this because she's holding my arm, right? So we're walking together, right? Mm-hmm. This fucker puts his head right here and goes, you forgot something. And he whispers it. He whispered it.
He did that on purpose, and you know he did.
And I said, when I tell you I took off. I was gone. I was gone. Sarah, her fight kicked in. Fuck that. She turned around to see who it was. I'm going to get a distance and then try to figure out who it is. Now, my brain kind of knew who it was, but it didn't matter.
Dalton liked doing that, though. He always likes getting right up there on your shoulders and scaring the ever-loving
But he genuinely didn't mean to do it on purpose.
No. He doesn't mean to do it most of the time. If he means to, he means to.
Yeah, no, he genuinely kept saying, like, I didn't mean to scare. What the fuck do you think was going to happen, though?
Brain cells did not connect that day.
Like, and I didn't, like, when I tell you, he said he intentionally was trying to make his feet hit the ground hard so we could hear him running. First of all, by the time we heard the plap, plap, plap of fast feet coming behind us, we were
2 inches away.
We were doing this, like turning, because we heard but by then his face is already here. You forgot. This man is like 5, almost 6 feet tall. Okay, so we're down here. So he's been
6'2" at least.
Yeah, so he bends down.
I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm like 5'11", so he's like 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he bends down to where our ear level is. Okay, we're average height. Me and Sarah, right? We're about average height compared to Dalton. He bends his head down. Like I told you, we're this close to each other because we're just talk. We're going home. Okay. He puts his head right here. Now, granted, we hear the but by then
he's already on your tail.
He's already there. So by the time we get ready to turn, his face comes in between us and goes, "You forgot something." Yeah, I took off running. I took off running. I said, fuck this shit. I'm out. I took off running. And Sarah turned around acting like she's fucking Mike Tyson shit. Like she gonna hit her. You do that. I'm gone. I took off running. And we screamed, mind you, it's 10 o'clock at night. We screamed. So you got two chicks that screamed out. We were in front of somebody's door. So the owner of that apartment came out. It was like, what's this? By then, I already took off. Sarah, because I screamed and ran. Sarah screamed, turned around like she's Mike Tyson, getting ready to sling somebody, and she's still cussing him out and yelling at him. Mind you, she had a weapon, so she didn't use it. Remember, she had the noodle bowl. She didn't use it, so she's screaming and yelling at him. I done took off. I'm already upstairs. So we live on the second floor. I'm already upstairs looking off of our balcony at the shit show that's in front of me. Because we were almost to our apartment. That's the thing. We were almost to our apartment. And so I'm watching it, and I just go home. You go home. I don't give a damn. You go home. And so that's all I'm yelling. He goes, oh, we're just trying to, I don't give a damn. Go home. And at this point, like, I got tears going down my face because I'm so fucking mad. And so again, we're screaming and yelling. So the neighbor that we just yelled in front of their door, he comes out. And so he pops his door open. All he sees is this 6-foot man doing this. And Dawn turned around, he looks at him and goes, I scared them. And then pit alone back to the house. And I was like, I don't give a fuck if his feelings is hurt. Bitch, I don't give a fuck if his feelings are hurt. And so I was like, you fucking... And then, mind you, like I told you, I had my scissors from my my little beading thing that I was doing, right? Mind you, once I got a safe distance away, I pulled the bitches out like I was going to use them. I said, you better fucking... I had to get a distance away. Sarah turned around right there on the perpetrator. I had to get a distance to figure myself out. And so I was like, I'm going to fucking stab you if you come any closer. So that's where I was at mentally. And then Sarah comes up the stairs and she goes, you left. Why didn't you run? What are you talking about? You didn't. So don't feel bad because I left her too. So no.
You know what? I think you guys told me about this the next day.
Yeah, because Megan thought it was hilarious when she came to the cafeteria.
Oh, I was laughing right alongside Megan the entire time.
Because she said when she came in, she said when Dalton came back to the house, she goes, what happened? Because his face. And she goes, I scared Shy and Sarah. And she goes, he has such a pitiful sound. I'm like, yo, he should be bad. He should feel that way. Like, he should feel bad. So, yeah. So don't feel bad. I left Sarah too. I left her too. So don't feel bad. I'm going to fucking leave you. I will. Listen, if we get chased, you got about 2-5 seconds. And mind you, I'm not turning around in those 2-5 seconds. I'm not going to, if you fall for whatever fucking reason, I'm not going to stop and look and see you. I'm going to keep running and pray that you catch up. And if you don't, that just adds to my fear of you just got. I'm going to keep going faster. Uh-huh. So if you just happen to pop up, like, you know, those movies where you thought the person died and they show up, if you pop up like that, cool beans. I'm so happy that you made it, but I wasn't about to double check if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So there you go.
Oh.
So yeah. That's my take. Don't want to go. Don't know. So don't feel bad.
All of this to turn around and talk about The Tale of the Quiet Librarian, which all of this was just to mention that the atmosphere was really good, and a haunting and a ghost librarian. I mean, come on, who just wants everything to be fucking quiet?
It's a library. Be quiet.
Yeah, but I mean, she's shushing everybody, even if they're whispering. Like, we'd be in trouble.
Oh, so you couldn't say nothing.
Pretty much. Like, I mean, you couldn't say anything without her going like, shh.
Oh, see, we gotta fight. Don't do that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, literally just inches away from your face. Like, our glass is almost touching, basically.
Yeah, no, you're too close.
Yeah. Still, it was a good episode, at least atmospherically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember anything about the acting or anything. I think I half fell asleep through that episode. I'm going to be honest with you. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it.
True.
Next, we have yet another story this one's another one of those little love stories, and it's very funny. It's very cute. It's called The Long Ago Locket. And this one's actually kind of a history one, if you will, a little bit. Because what happens is this guy finds a locket. He is walking through a grove in order to go back home after playing soccer with his friends or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that locket has some, like, old ghost energy to it.
Okay.
And it transports him back in time to the Revolutionary War era. Mm-hmm. And he gets spotted by the Redcoats and gets captured, gets saved by one of the revolutionary guys who swears up and down with that locket that he has in his hand that he's going to survive this and make it to his love that is waiting for him. Mm-hmm. At the time, I think he's like, I don't know military ranks. I don't remember if he's a captain or an admiral or whatever it is. I don't know. But he was originally in the history of the time frame captured and killed, so he never made it that far.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to the help of the boy that got transferred back in time, he is saved, he escapes, he manages to survive the events, and does manage to rise up in rank and get to be with his beloved. And then the boy gets transferred back into the future. And
to his present time, though.
To the present time, yes. Finds that locket on the ground with, originally it had the man's original rank carved in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then side by side with the girl that he's currently infatuated with, and they both like each other, so it's working out. It changes to the next rank up, so he made the next rank up and survived and all that. And then in order to just basically kind of follow suit, he presents that locket and puts it around her neck, and they start dating. So
that's cute.
It's a cute little story. There's not a whole lot to it. It's
so
one of those,
fix it.
Yeah. It's another one of those butterfly effect things, going back in past. Butterfly effect to fix it into the future the way it should have been.
I like reading stories that are fix it. I read a lot of fan fiction.
Yeah.
But I like reading fix it stories because I'm like, I read the original, but had you done this, what would that have been? So I like fix it stories.
It was a good one. And it was all just very simple. It all took place in that little grove that he was walking through. Which, I mean, it's kind of like a Gettysburg thing where it's a situation of the area is haunted. Like, everyone knows Gettysburg is haunted by all these Revolutionary time ghosts. Everyone knows that. Anyone who's ever been there can account for tale after tale after tale.
Yeah.
So having it take place in that time frame, it just made good sense. It was really well executed. It was solid. It's not like the best episode, but atmospherically it's solid.
Yeah, like it has a good plot point.
It does. And if you're a history buff, you're going to enjoy it just for the sake of the history buff moment for a little bit.
As long as you're not a snooty history buff.
Yeah. I mean, if you enjoy a little bit of fictional history tied to actual history, you're going to enjoy it. So it's a good episode. Not a lot to say about it, but that's okay. It's a good little love story.
Yeah.
And again, Are You Afraid of the Dark does good love stories. They really do. I don't know why it is, but for a series that's supposed to be about a bunch of like ghosts and aliens and history and this, that, and the other, like.
Well, and you also got to keep in mind as the story progresses, they're teenagers. So even though it's still ghost, even if it's still ghost stories, they're also experiencing that type of stuff too.
And then we move on to what I consider yet again one of the very best episodes to come from the series, and that is The Tale of the Fire Ghost. This one surprisingly actually doesn't get ranked very highly, and I don't understand why. It all takes place inside of a firehouse.
Okay.
And the reason why it's called a fire ghost is because effectively what this is that these ghosts are the ghosts of the fires that the firefighters put out. It's always said that a fire is a living thing. It's alive.
Yeah.
So when you put it out, you're killing it. So they took that and made that a concept.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. And the way it works is that, at least for this tale, you've got a brother and a sister who are the children of a firefighter who's working in that firehouse. And I don't know if it was a few years or a few months prior, one of his fellow firefighters, a partner or something like that, I don't know, died in a massive 4-alarm fire. Ever since then, his ghost is keeping an eye on the firehouse, making sure everything's good to go, and actually serving to be as the protector and savior from the other firefighters still living, being targeted by these fire ghosts, because he can see them, they can't.
Oh, okay.
And the way that it all works out is that there's a little story where if you see the light of the fire ghost and you stare at it, you have invited it in.
Okay.
And these fire ghosts, they are tricky things. They are tricksters. They will use whatever advantage they can, trick you into
letting them
come take a look at things. But he was the fire ghost. He had disguised himself as the police officer. Comes in when the ghost of the deceased firefighter tells him, no, you just invited this guy in. They turn around. There he is in all of his... He's actually terrifying to look at because he still has his human appearance, but his entire body is covered in burned ash and stuff like that. And then he's partially on fire. Like his clothes are partially on fire. They're burned in spots. Visually, it's so effective. They used makeup to a great advantage, really.
Not just his face, it's his entire body.
It is his entire body. And then he's got red glows of cinders, and he literally just, in anger, he just bursts into flames. Like, it's so effective. It is so effective. And that's really what's incredible about it is they used makeup, some solid acting, a simple location, and honestly, he's the firefighter ghost there.
Okay.
Yep. And a very just effective story to tell something very simple that just works and it's memorable. And I don't know why it doesn't get put higher up on people's ranks when it is so solid.
Yeah.
It's just a good episode. It's one that is a must watch. And we're now at that point in season 4 where a lot of these episodes, they could have been longer and that would have made them better. This one was honestly one of those ones where it needed that extra 25 minutes to be like a 45-minute episode or something like that to just push it from really good to amazing. But on its own, as it is what it is, it's great. And then we go into The Tale of the Unfinished Painting. This is another one where it needed to be longer.
Is this the one where they become the painting?
Yes, kind of. Yeah. Young artists, in this case, a teenage girl, get fooled by a witch, a hunter witch, who has taken the form of a little girl into going into a gallery called Hunter's Gallery. Yeah, very on the nose. And this hunter witch is serving the shrunken head demon looking thing that you saw a picture of earlier there. Well, the woman has been hunting these artists for centuries, and she will trick them into completing unfinished paintings and then using specifically only one brush that she provides them. It's that brush that basically captures these people and puts them into the paintings. Once that painting is completed by signing their signature on there. And most of them will say, well, no, this wasn't my painting, so I really can't. And her reasoning is, well, you're the one who finished it. You're the one who gave it that life. It is your painting now. Sign your painting and take ownership of it. Upon doing so, the paintbrush sucks that person into the painting and they become one of the characters in that painting. And they are captured in there forever, basically. Once the main girl of this story discovers that that's what's going on, she breaks all the paintbrushes, throws them into a fire or whatever, destroys them however she has to. That frees all the people who were trapped in these paintings.
Okay.
Now, the thing of it is that this is something that they didn't show, but I think it would have been really cool, is because the witch mentions that she has been hunting for centuries, it'd be kind of cool if all these people it would have been really cool as if showing several of these people being free, if they were from centuries past, if they were now ghosts and they just ascended or something, were freed, their souls freed. Anyone who was still within their time frame was just released and made normal again. What happened to the witch? Well, what happened was that, and this is another thing where I think it needed this detail that it didn't have that would have helped. She seemed to be on like her last chance with this demon thing, or maybe she only got one chance. And despite having served it loyally and effectively for centuries, upon her devices, those paintbrushes being destroyed, the spirit thing demon rises up out of the fire and takes her and drags her down with her. Okay. So she only seemed to have the one chance. I feel like if they had just said at the beginning, I won't fail you again this time, something like that, just a quick sentence to say she had failed once before or twice before, and this was her last chance, that would have been very effective.
Because if she's been successful this whole time, why does this one incident warrant that?
Or at the very least, if there had been some sort of statement of, you only have one chance with this demon thing, and regardless of how long you've served it, that's it. If you fail, it's your own fault. Anything like that, that would have been just effective. Like, everything about this story is really solid as it is. It just has a couple of things, a couple of minor missed details that if they had just written it in with some dialogue or something, it would have made it all the more effective. But a great episode on its own.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what I was saying originally. Not so much as a narcissist. What's his name?
Narcissus.
It's had to do with basically it was a painting, and I guess you could say a demon, witch, whatever.
I'm not sure what it was.
It was a portrait of the guy, right? And basically, he remained young, no matter what he did, no matter his ugly inside, how he was to other people. He remained this beautiful person, and he just never aged. He was stuck in whatever that painting originally looked like when he was young. That's what he looked like. But over time, that painting became very ugly, very distorted, because one, his personality was ugly, and anything that happened to him, if he got cut or stabbed, it never showed up on his face. Like his appearance never changed, but everything that happened to him happened to the painting. And so for the longest time, that's how it was, and he hid it, because if you destroyed the painting, like kind of how this was, if you destroy the portrait, then all the bad, everything that happened in that portrait would come back on him. And so that's what ended up happening. I can't remember the name of it, but I've seen different renditions of it. I'm pretty sure there was a movie or a short story or something of it.
That's cool.
But it was literally that. We read about it. I think I read about it in school too. And I know there's a movie or something, or a short series or something of that was brought up. But that's pretty much how it was. He got a portrait done when he was young, and he was obsessed with being young. And so the person who gave it to him is like, you don't have to worry about that. And of course, he didn't catch on to like years, quote unquote, years later that, oh, I'm not aging. Oh, I still look the same. But yet he would look at the portrait, and the portrait basically was a reflection of how he really was, which is this nasty, horrible person. So he hid it. That's why he hid the painting.
Okay.
And so,
that's cool.
Of course, someone discovered it and was like, this is what he really looks like. And he goes, oh, so now you discovered my secret. Now I got to kill you, basically. Because once people realized you're not aging and it's been years, like, dude, something's not up, he would basically get rid of that person. And he would move. So yeah, and it basically ended with them destroying the painting. I think they burned the painting or something, how they destroyed the painting, and all the curse and all the stuff that was trapped within the painting reflected back on him. So
I will say this demon thing, whatever it was for the painting episode, it looks like the head of a witch doctor, like a shrunken head of a witch doctor. That's kind of what it looks like to me.
Okay.
Honestly, Are You Afraid of the Dark never did a Native American story well, because it always kind of painted a poor light on Native American type of cultures and histories and stuff like that. This was one of the rare instances where the shrunken head thing was not at the forefront and was just sort of an accessory. So it's more so, I think, a little more excusable, if you will, because it was never like
the main thing.
Yeah, it was literally hidden away in a closet that was kept in the back so that people going to that gallery were never supposed to see it. So, and it was never just constantly showing up. It showed up at the beginning, and then it showed up when the main girl in the story found the paintbrushes that were being bewitched or whatever it was at the end, when the demon spirit thing took the witch hunter with him.
Okay.
So because it was never a major player throughout the entire thing, that was definitely to its advantage. Because I think if it hadn't been, it would be a much more poorly remembered episode because of just the bad light it really tried to put on the history of Native American cultures.
Okay.
Which is something that did happen with another episode called The Tale of the Minaha that we are not talking about, because that's not only a terrible episode, but just really a very poor depiction of Native American culture. So we're not talking about that one.
Well, when was this episode, like, year-wise?
Let's see. The Tale of the Minaha happened in season 5, so that would have been 96.
Okay.
So, quite a while back, but still really not excusable all the same.
True.
So, yeah, it didn't age well. But the episode wasn't good in general from The Tale of the Minaha, so there you go.
It's hit or misses. They all can be hitters.
True. And it really was hit and miss with the series. But the next one we have going on is called Tale of Train Magic. Terrible title. Phenomenal episode. I was talking earlier about wanting a haunted train type of story, something like that. And this is a haunted train story, and it's done really well. Like, it's done very well. It's a case where a boy and his brother had just lost their father. Their father was a conductor. And the younger boy, very much into trains, wanting to become like his father. The elder boy, a bit more of a sports fanatic, wanting to just try to get the younger brother out and playing and having more fun than just being inside playing with the train sets and stuff.
Yeah.
So understandable to some degree, but at the same time, he's got a passion for it, so let him be.
Mhm.
Even if it is kind of somewhat negative in that he's...
Does he have social skills? That's probably another reason why he wanted him out. Does he have social skills?
Yeah, that's kind of it. He was just trying to get his little brother to get more social skills and stuff, rather than just cooping himself up in the basement playing with trains. So it's understandable, but at the same time, I mean, he was building up towards a career in railroads, so why not let him? Regardless, the boy is approached by a conductor and is offered little gifts and stuff because the conductor recognizes this boy as a train fanatic through and through, likes spending a lot of his time there at the train station and stuff. Come to find out that this conductor is actually a ghost of a train that, as it turns out, he had fallen asleep while on duty, which you're not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And because he didn't get an important notice that at the time, with the way it was set up, is notices were put up on poles where they were just clipped onto a pole, and you had to lean out.
They still do that in some places.
They do still do that in some places, but it's not as common. And he missed that important notice. Well, that important notice was to let him know that he had to stop the train, change a setting to move on to another track. Well, he failed to do that. And as a result, the train went and barreled into a house or something that is currently the house owned by the boy's mother.
Okay.
Barreled in, crashed, killed everybody, including the conductor. And now this conductor is eternally doomed to repeat the same mistake over and over and over again. He's been doing this for 70 years. No, 50 years. 50 years. He's been repeating the same crash every year for 50 years. What his goal is to finally get out of this cycle by subbing in the young boy as the new conductor so he can be free.
Okay.
Well, the result of doing this is that instead what they do when he finally does get off the train the first time, because this happens a couple of times, he gets caught on there and then he manages to escape before fate would have it follow through that time. They go to one of the guys working there as like a maintenance man for the trains. And he tells them about the young boy tells the man about the name of this guy, the conductor. And so the man tells him about what was going on or what had happened in the past, what resulted in that crash and all those events I just told you about.
Yeah.
What they wind up deciding to do is to basically fix that so that that cycle can no longer continue by pulling that switch that would switch the train. Mm-hmm. So while the boy is now again caught on the train for the second time, is about to become the conductor of this, the elder brother manages to get the switch pulled, which had rusted pretty tight in place after having been out of use for so long. It was a train rail track that hadn't been used for quite a while. Yeah. Switches the train veers off, is freed from its cycle, but now the conductor is just a ghost without he's a conductor without a train. So he becomes unfulfilled, incomplete, and he's just got a lantern light and he's just got to walk up and down that train track without a train anymore for the rest of his eternity. He doesn't get his freedom from his cycle. Instead, he just gets put in a new cycle as punishment for his failings because it wasn't the conductor's idea. Had it been his idea, had it been, I need your help to save me and fix this, maybe then he would have been freed from it. But instead, he went down a dark route trying to
get another soul to take his spot.
Because he went down that route. It caused.
So he was just a lousy person in general.
He was.
You fell asleep at the job and killed everybody on there. And your remorse was, I just need someone else to take this spot.
Yep. And so his eternal punishment, he's now a conductor without a train that has to wander up and down train tracks.
Because what they probably didn't mention was the people that he killed on the train was probably still trapped on the train too and going through the same cycle.
Yep, they were. Yep.
So for them, they probably
They were freed.
But you, because one, you weren't on the train because you swapped out with the kid. Maybe if he'd been on the train, he might have gotten your freedom there.
Well, the kid managed to get freed from it, so he didn't wind up becoming the new conductor, thankfully.
Well, I'm saying like if the conductor was on the train with the kid and then they did the switcheroo, maybe he would have got his chance to break the cycle.
Maybe.
But instead, you tried to stay off the train and had the boy take your spot, and that's why you got left behind and everyone else got free. What
I also didn't tell you is that this conductor, who had become just a terrible man at this point, a terrible awful person, had tricked or hypnotized, I guess, the man who they went to, who told them the story about the conductor's pass, had hypnotized him to get on the train. It's just like, it's just one more soul to add to the train. So he was also just adding souls gradually.
Yeah. So again, everyone, you probably wouldn't, even if you were on the train, you probably wouldn't have got saved anyway. Because you'd probably got mad that they were trying to change it.
Mm-hmm. So regardless of how it went, this was just a really well done story about a haunted train that you don't see too many haunted trains. I think Hey Arnold did a haunted train episode once. It was a solid episode too.
I don't remember.
But again, terrible title. Solid episode. I like it. I wish there were more haunted train type stories. I think there would be a fantastic movie in a haunted train movie.
Yeah, they mostly do zombie train movies.
Yeah, I haven't seen many of those either, but
Train to Busan.
I just want to see a good haunted train movie. If anyone out there sees this, go make a haunted train movie for me, please, and make it good. I don't want some corny nonsense. I don't want some ridiculous whatever. I want you to be a railway enthusiast who knows what you're talking about, what you're doing. And I want you to just really make something beautiful for me. Do that if you would, please. I'd be so very much happy if you did. Just saying.